mathematicians, let's do your homework. Okay, so our first two problems are order of operations. They shouldn't be too bad. We just need to remember that we do grouping symbols first, then exponents, then multiplying and dividing, whichever one you see first, then adding and subtracting, whichever one you see first. All right, let's do number 2 together. Place the following values correctly on the number line below. We have 3/4 and we have 3/10. So I can see that this number is 0 and 5/10. So I'm going to check and see if I can fill in what those missing spaces are. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to be counting by 1. So this is 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. There's already 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and 1.0, or like 10, it looks like. So now that I have that, it's pretty easy for me to spot. Okay, 0.3 goes right here. I'm going to change 3/4 into a decimal so that I can decide where that goes. So to do that, I'm going to divide 3 divided by 4. Okay, 4 goes into 3 0 times. 4 goes into 30. 4 times 7 is 28. With the remainder of 2, bring down another 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So we're looking at 0 and 75 hundredths. So you need to decide where that goes because these are not in hundreds. So decide where that goes and then answer the question. Which of these, 3/4 or 75 hundredths, or 3/10 is closer to the number 1? Once you've graphed this other point, you should just be able to look at it and be like, well, which one's closer to that number? And then you can just write down your answer. Number 3 has quite a few steps. I'll just give you some hints and reminders for most of them. I'm going to do F with you and D. The other ones I'll just give you reminders. Reminders, when you're adding decimals, make sure to stack your decimals directly on top of each other. You cannot line up this 2 with this 3 because they are not both the second number after your decimal point. So they need to match up. When you have a whole number and a decimal number, 100 can become 100.0 before you subtract. So again, you can stack your decimal points. When you're multiplying, pretend it's 55 times 62. Multiply that and then put your decimal in 1, 2 spaces. This one you can do no problem. You're going to divide 113 divided by 4. You may or may not have a remainder. You can put it in fraction form or decimal form. That's your choice. For D, decimals are allowed in division when they're inside the division house. They are not allowed outside. So you need to change this, boop, boop, to 25. And if you moved it 2 spaces, you need to move it 1, 2 spaces again. So this becomes 25, and this becomes 6, 5. Fill in that empty space with a 0. 650 divided by 25. Let's do F. When you have fraction division, first thing you check is, are they both fractions? If one of them's a mixed number, you need to change it. If one of them's a whole number, you need to make it a fraction. Now that these are both fractions, I'm going to keep my first fraction exactly the same, change my division to multiplication, and find the reciprocal of 1/4, which is 4 over 1. Now that it's a multiplication problem, I can multiply numerator times numerator. 3 times 4 is 12. And denominator times denominator. 5 times 1 is 5. It says to simplify all final answers, but 5 and 12 do not share a common denominator. So if you wanted to, you can leave it like that. Or you could change it into a mixed number, or you could divide it and change it into a mixed number in a decimal form. But that is perfectly acceptable as your final answer for F. Moving on to the back. This one shouldn't be terribly bad. You are adding up how much cake Ray is buying. You can add it up 3 slices, or you can multiply it times 3, but you're going to get an answer that's money, so make sure it has dollar signs. If you have $2.70 in your pocket and you want to spend all your money on candy, how many pieces of candy can he buy? That is a division problem. So all your money split up into candy price. Just what we just did on the first page. You have to move your decimal to make this number outside a whole number. So you're going to end up doing 270 divided by 15 to see how many pieces of candy he can buy. Part C, he has $7.25. He wants to buy an ice cream cone, a slice of cake, 9 pieces of candy. Your question is twofold. Yes or no, does he have enough money to buy everything that he wants to buy? And that's not enough to just say yes or no. Tell me why you know. Prove it to me with math. Explain to me, yes, he has this much money and he's spending this much money, or no, he doesn't have enough money because he needs this much more. So you need to explain your answer. All right, you're all done with your homework. See you tomorrow.